in the past 12 months, this guy has been very, very involved in all three of those. We are so pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Colleyville Heritage Panthers. It is Coach Joe Willis. Coach Willis, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. You bet. Good to be with you. So your first year at Colleyville Heritage, you guys make the playoffs, bow out in the first round to an outstanding Mansfield team. Mm-hmm. Overall, how would you assess your first year with the Panthers? Well, I mean, I was really proud of our senior class. I mean, I got here after spring ball, so right around the 1st of June. You didn't have a chance really to get to know them then. Got to know them through the summer, and early in fall, and really, we used the first half of our season basically to have spring ball during the fall. But really proud of our seniors and how well they adjusted. And, we got it turned around toward the end of the year. We were playing really good football. Did it feel like at times in that early going that you were just running around like a chicken with your head cut off? Oh, yeah. But that's no different than anywhere, right? I mean, you always, to a degree, anytime you go in and take over a new program, I mean, you're not just talking about learning the kids. You're talking about learning the systems here in place at the high school. You have to get familiar with your parent base. You have to understand the culture that's here in place. And, so early on, it's more about getting to know where you're at, what kind of kids you have, what kind of community you have, what are the current expectations. And then from there, you go to work on, trying to build your program. You're a year into it, through one season at Heritage. Does it feel like you get it, you've got your feet wet, and you're in touch with the community and with the program? Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, one year, really toward the end of the season, about week 8 or 9 last year, began to get familiar with not just the community, but with the football program and the high school and the traditions here. We're years ahead of where we were last year this time. No question about it. You, of course, came from Cedar Park, where your protege, your coordinator, Carl Absek, helped the Timberwolves to a state title this year in 5A Division II. For you, what was it like watching that program that you know so much about, and pretty much everyone in that program? What was it like for you to watch them win a title? Well, it was great. It was a great experience to watch. I love those kids there, and a lot of work went into building that program. Not just my work. Chris Ross before me, and a lot of good coaches had gone through that program. But to watch them go undefeated this year and to win that state championship, of course, I was there on the sideline and got a chance to go down to Houston and watch them. That was a great feeling because that senior class was a special class. It was very close to that group, and enjoyed every minute of watching them do what they did this year, completing their journey. Did you have a feeling when you were leaving Colleyville or when you were leaving Cedar Park to go to Heritage? Did you have a feeling that maybe you were leaving behind that could win a team that could win a title? Not just a feeling, but a strong feeling. In fact, I told them the day I left. I told them in the weight room the day that I informed the team. I said, I will see you on the sidelines there in Houston. I knew that was going to be the case. And to be honest with you, probably would have not left had I not felt like that team was in a great place, in great hands with a good coach that was going to take care of them. And was so glad to see that, Leander ISD did the right thing and hire Carl because he definitely deserved the job. And so walking away from there, without a doubt, I felt like they would have a great chance to go and win a state championship. We're talking with Joe Willis, the head coach of the Colleyville Heritage Panthers here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag DCTF Live. Want to talk to you about a couple of your players, one of whom is off to the next level. I had the great pleasure of watching Reed Harrison Ducros play for Team USA in the International Bowl at AT&T Stadium. Heading to Boise State, I was so impressed with his athleticism, with his skill set. As the guy who watched him all year long, what can you tell Boise State fans about the kid they're getting? Well, they're getting a great, not just a great football player, but an outstanding young man. As good of a football player as he is, he's a much better person. He's going to be a leader for them. He's the kind of kid that does not only do his work on the field, but also in the locker room as well. He was a captain for us. And, he was one of the reasons why I think towards the end of the year, we really got this thing turned around. A lot of it had to do with his leadership and the group of captains that we had and making our situation better as the year went on. But,
and I told them at the signing day the other day, there's a lot of talk about that blue field up in Boise and about how they had talked about changing it because they had geese, I think, that flew into it. And I said, no worries now up there because it's a no-fly zone because, Reed can flat lock it down. So, they're getting a great cornerback as well.
He was a lot of fun to watch. Another guy that was a lot of fun to watch this year that you get back not just for next year, but for the next 2 years, Kevon Ahmed, your outstanding sophomore wide receiver, 68 catches, almost 1,400 yards, 18 touchdowns. Did you know that he had something like this in him?
Well, I didn't know until he got here. We didn't see him until 2 days into the season. In fact, he didn't show up until about 2 days into two-a-days. So, we found out in a hurry, though, how talented he was. Not just a guy that can run, but a guy that can catch. Great hands, great skill set. Another kid is going to be a great leader for us. Currently playing basketball. He'll be a track star, too. He can do it all. So this is a kid that's going to be recruited, obviously, on the national level. And I want to say he led the Metroplex, I know, at the end of the regular season in yards receiving. And he might have even been one of the tops in the state. I'm not exactly sure on that toward the end. But through 11 games, he put up some just crazy good numbers. And, the combination of he and Cameron, the quarterback, those two guys are a great connection for us. And then we've got some other kids that are coming that we feel very strongly about too. So, our offensive skill set should be pretty good next year.
Yeah, Kevon Ahmed was definitely among the top receivers in the state, even though he only got to play 11 games, which I think speaks to his ability to get his hands on the football. Of course, you are first and foremost a defensive guy, and so
when you say defensive, there's defensive and there's offensive and offensive. There's a lot of different variations of that. I get called all of those.
You focus a lot on your defense. You take pride in your defense. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no question.
So then, who should we know heading into 2016? Who should we know about on the defensive side that's going to become maybe a household name on the Panthers defense?
Well, our leading returning tackler is Matt Herrera. He's an inside linebacker. Did a great job for us this year as a junior, and he'll be really the anchor of our defense. And we're losing some talented players on defense. You mentioned Reed. Jordan Porter is going to Eastern Michigan. Was an outstanding safety for us this year. Who, by the way, the first year he played high school football was this year. He'd been a hockey player.
Wow.
So Judd Thrash had him in class and got him talked into coming out, and he was a great player for us this year. And then our nose guard, Tank Johnson, who's going up to Panhandle State to play, he was another great fixture there. And the list goes on and on. Pelini now was our leading tackler last year at linebacker, and he, of course, he's gonna go off and play college ball. So we've got a lot of new faces, but I tell you this, Matt and the group of kids that we're going to have around him are going to be they're going to go through our off season this year, and so we feel really good about the energy and attitude and athleticism that we're going to put on the field on defense next year.
We're talking to Joe Willis, the head coach of the Colleyville Heritage Panthers, here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag DCTF Live. Coach, of course, the big talk around Texas high school football these days is realignment, and you guys are on the short list of guys who really teams that really benefited, dropping down to Class 5A, and having all those guys back. Granted, in Region 1, which features Aledo and a couple others, but with the Fort Worth schools, overall, what are your feelings on how your Panthers drew in realignment?
Well, you never want to look at it as who you're going to play. The way I always want to look at it is let's look at us. Let's evaluate us as a team and worry about us and not our opponents, the people we're going to play. You can say the drop down to 5A is an advantage if you want to, but haven't been a part of a 5A, team and program. I'll tell you this, there's not a lot of difference between those good football teams, 5A and 6A. And, we're going to have Denton Ryan in our region. Denton Ryan will be a big school, and end up being a big school too. I think Aledo, I want to say Aledo may be a small school, but we're gonna open up the season with them. Though we're gonna play the first ball game with them. So, what we've got to do is we've got to focus on us because there were times last year here at Colleyville I felt like we played a high level of football, and there were times where I didn't feel like we were up to that challenge. So, our focus is let's go play some high-level football. We open with Aledo, we play Frisco Heritage, and then we play Trinity. I mean, so we wanted a schedule that would kind of show us what we had done, to deserve, that kind of, those kind of props as far as, being in one of the top elite programs in 5A. And, we got a long way to go. I'll be honest. We're not there yet. So, the 5A draw will put us in a better situation in terms of numbers. We did not have good numbers here, participation numbers here last year when I got here. We're building those numbers back, but we all know that, winning takes care of a lot of those things, right? So that's what we're trying to do now is get back to a place where we feel good about our participation numbers and we feel good about the product that we're putting on the field.
I want to take you back to May 28th when you received a panic text message from Greg Tepper telling you that we were 2.5 hours to sending the summer edition to press. And I had read a report from our friend Matt Stepp that was saying that you were leaving for Colleyville Heritage, and you were nice enough to text me back and say, yes, you can confirm it. So then I had to scramble through the magazine and change your name about 20 times. So I want your promise right now in front of God and everybody. Are you leaving Colleyville Heritage? Because I'd really like to know right now.
No, I'm not leaving Colleyville Heritage. No, but hey, I'm just telling you, as being a coach, you got to understand that timing is everything, and coaches don't always control that timing either. And that was one of those situations where, we, even though it was the end of the year, I felt like the challenge was there, and I felt like the draw was there, and the time was right. Because again, I had taken Cedar Park all the way through spring, felt really good about the team that we had, felt really good about the coaching staff that was there. The time was right then, but I don't have any plans other than to be right here when fall cranks up, right here at Colleyville.
All right, I'm holding you to that this time.
All right.
He is Joe Willis. He's the head coach of the Colleyville Heritage Panthers. Coach, thank you so much for your time.
You bet.
Enjoy the off season. Try to get a little bit of rest before spring football hits, and I'm sure we'll be talking.
No doubt. I appreciate it.
There he goes, Joe Willis, the head coach of the Colleyville Heritage Panthers. Seriously, that is the last thing that got in the magazine. Besides, like,
that's your nightmare
maybe
scenario.
Besides any sort of the last thing we do is the last day before we send the magazine to press is that we just kind of flip through it. And we go, and at that point, we're looking for big stuff. If there's a missing comma or something, it's just not getting in. So there will be some corrections here or there.
Right.
But that was about 3 hours to press. Matt Stepp tweets, wow, big bombshell that Joe Willis is heading. I've heard that Joe Willis is heading to.
Lord.
But that's not the kind of thing that you can, because if I had changed it and it wasn't true.
Right. Then you're really in trouble.
Then I'm really in trouble. I mean, but at the same time, if I put out a magazine that sells hundreds of thousands of copies across the state with bad information in it, then I feel like an idiot.
Yep.
So he was very nice to get a panic text message from me. Please, Coach, please confirm or deny this.
Right.
He was nice enough to get back to me on what I'm sure was a busy day. And he was nice enough to join us here on DCTF Live.